Hi, Sarah.
Hello, Pam. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Doing okay.
Yeah,
We survived
feral
another
toddlers over
day
here.
of, feral
Another successful
toddler.
day of parenting.
That's right. Should just be our catchphrase from now on.
Yeah, I say it every night when I put Nicholas to bed. I'm like, another successful day of parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're gonna be talking about all things food when it comes to your kids. We're gonna essentially start from the beginning, from starting solids and going from there. So I actually have a question for you, Sarah.
Yes.
When you started solids, did you have guidance from your pediatrician? Did you just check out moms online? Like, what was that experience for you?
So, my baby girl was allergic to what seemed like everything under the sun. So, we started out with CMPA, the cow milk protein allergies, which meant that I couldn't have any dairy. And I really had to cut out a lot of sulfuric foods that could make a baby gassy, like broccoli, cauliflower, beans, like all that kind of thing, in my diet. So anything that I was cutting out of my diet because I was nursing and pumping, my pediatrician said don't introduce it for a while because obviously it upsets her stomach. She had pretty watery, like mucousy stool all the time. She had awful reflux all the time. So we had to tread really lightly when we started solids. So we started with things that were basically very mild, like sweet potato. That was our first food. Specifically, there's oh my gosh, I forget the name of it, but it's a purple sweet potato on the outside, and the inside is white, like a creamy white. We didn't start with the orange sweet potato. She really liked that, and that was basically all she ate from the age of 6 months until she was 9 months. Because I was just so petrified.
Yeah.
And my pediatrician did recommend that anytime you or I were to introduce a food, to make sure that I give her the same food every day for at least 3 days before introducing a new food, just in case she had an allergy to it that wasn't, going to show up the first try, because that's something I learned, that you can have an allergy and not have a reaction the first time you try it. And on your third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, all of a sudden you develop an allergy. So I learned that from my pediatrician when I was introducing the solids, and that's what they recommended for me. But otherwise, they were just like, hey, like whatever you're eliminating from your diet, don't introduce to her. But otherwise, have fun. What about you?
Okay. So when my child turned 4 months, his pediatrician was like, you could start giving him solids.
Wow,
Start
4 months.
start with, you know, start with things, same scenario as give the same thing for 3 days. And, there's going to be some gagging, there's going to be this, but you can start.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like 4 months was it for him.
Was he sitting up at that point at 4 months or close to it?
He was
Okay.
assisted mostly. So I think I waited maybe like another month and a half. He was closer to 6 months. It was before Thanksgiving. I remember that. And
Just in time.
so I went to give him, we did carrots. He gagged. He was like, "Ugh," a lot. I actually have a really funny video of it. I pureed it because that's, what you're told essentially.
Yeah.
We did sweet potato, same kind of scenario. I'm sorry, I started with oatmeal. I mixed
Right.
it with breast milk. He liked it. And then we did carrots, and then we did sweet potato. He did not like anything pureed. He was not like the carrots and the sweet potato. He was not it. And then I think it was like the second or third time that I gave him sweet potato. He woke up in the middle of the night, like, and he threw up like a. It was kind of like foamy. So I'm a first time mom. I'm freaking out. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, he has a low grade fever. We need to put him in the bath. We need to clean. Like, I was petrified. So we didn't give him solids again until he was like a little over 7 months, because I was just like, I can't do this. And that time when we started solids, I didn't puree it. I just steamed it, and it was like really soft, and he loved it. He had a carrot to the face. Like, he was just like, I'm in. And then from then on out, I cut things up, and because you worry about choking and you worry about these different things. But my experience, I was like, he didn't want food at 4 months. And we tried at 6 months, and he wasn't about it. And then at like 7.5 months was when he really started to like food and eat food. So I wish I would have had more input from my pediatrician. We were actually in the middle of changing, like, that doctor was leaving the practice, so we went by default to the next pediatrician in the practice. But yeah, I kind of went with vibes. Like, I asked a few moms, and then I was just kind of like, okay, we're gonna eat.
We're gonna eat. We're gonna do it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way to do it. And we kind of did the same thing once our doctor was like, yeah, just, be mindful. And then that's when things got really interesting for us, because once we started introducing more foods, Ramona, my daughter, would start getting hives often, like really often. And not just like one or two, like they would be all over her body. And what we had to end up doing was, we have a stainless steel fridge. So I just took a dry erase marker, and I would just write down the foods that she had a reaction to and what kind of reaction to. So a lot of fruits like strawberries and apples especially, she would get these awful hives all over her body. Then I was like, you know what? Let me try something like really simple, easy on the stomach. I'm going to give her banana. It's really soft. Give her banana. She loves it, right? And then similar to Nicholas, or your baby, he or she vomits in the middle of the night. Like, vomit I have never experienced from her before. And same thing, freaking out, like, oh my God, like she's gonna choke on this. And the scary part is she was vomiting, and she was still laying on her back while she was sleeping at this point. I think she must have been like 6 months, maybe 7. I don't remember, but she didn't sit up until she was about 8 months old because of her reflux. Anyway, she was still sleeping primarily on her back, and she was vomiting, and I could see her like kind of choking on her vomit.
Oh my gosh.
And it was the scariest moment of my life. I ran upstairs.
I'm gonna check my monitor right now.
Right, exactly. I know. And thank God I was looking at the monitor.
Yeah.
I just like happened to look at the monitor at that moment. And my husband and I spent the night in her room that night. I had like a little sleepover on the floor. And that's when we called our pediatrician and was like, listen, she has had multiple vomiting episodes like this when we introduce foods, and she has hives, and we don't know what's going on. It seems like she's got a lot of allergies. She can't have dairy. She can't have a lot of, like the broccoli is a lot of vegetables. She can't have this. She can't have that. Like, she's at that point about, like I said, 7 months. And we were concerned that she couldn't eat anything. So they actually referred us to go to a gastroenterologist, because before a child is 1 year old, if you give them an allergy test, it's usually they get a lot of false positives, and it's not typically accurate. And they also can grow out of allergies so quickly that if and it's very strange how all this works, or how the pediatrician describes this to us. But you know, in today's practice of introducing solids, they tell you to introduce high allergen foods early and often, because otherwise, if you don't, it will likely lead to a higher likelihood of developing allergies to those foods. So we're talking like peanuts, nuts, things like that. But the same applies to any food. So I was so nervous that she wasn't going to be introduced to anything and was going to be allergic to everything. But they still didn't recommend the allergist. They sent us to a gastroenterologist, and that's when she was diagnosed with something called FPIES, which I forget what that stands for, but I will post an article about it. I'll link an article about it. And essentially it's when you have a very severe allergy to specific foods. So in her case, it was bananas and apples. And
Oh my gosh.
there was one other food, carrots. And okay, it was strawberries, bananas, apples, carrots, and avocado. Those were the 5 foods that would make her like projectile vomit.
Tastiest foods.
Well, the tastiest foods, and also a lot of the first foods that you introduce to a baby. You know? So we were not allowed to give her any of that until she was over a year old. So,
wow.
yeah, so that was kind of crazy. And she did end up growing out of all of it, so she can eat all of that
Nice.
now, which is
That's good.
lovely. But it took a long time for her to get to where she is today. She's still not totally on dairy. We had to do this thing called the dairy ladder, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, it was quite a journey with the food thing. I don't know. It's scary as a first time mom. You don't really know what you're doing. You're just, like you said, going on vibes and seeing what happens, you know?
Yeah, so this is actually something that I do want to mention on this episode. I've been following this one creator on Instagram/TikTok, and I say she's a creator, but it's like she's a mom. She's a working mom. She has a nanny, and she's pregnant with her second, and like she's a human being. Like, it's not like a huge influencer thing. And I feel like that's important to note, because that's the reason I started following her and have followed her all this time. She started doing like baby-led weaning.
Yeah.
And she did it in the way of like baby-led weaning, but she eats the way we eat. And so she would post a lot of like, you know, we're having tacos tonight. This is what she's having. And it was like a deconstructed taco. And it was like that kind of scenario. So I learned a lot from her. And I also got more comfortable with letting the baby explore his mouth and explore like when he put too much in his mouth. And like, when I say that, I want you to know that like I wouldn't put a single piece of food near him unless I was sitting next to him.
Right. Yeah.
Because I even now, like, he's a fluent toddler, I'm still like, if I hear him gag, I'm immediately like, I might as well have 2 fingers in his mouth by the time he gags, because I'm immediately like, what's going on? Yeah. But we did go that route, and it was like, I'm gonna say it was simple for us, whether we got lucky or whatever, but in that way it was simple, because even now he still just assumes that whatever's on our plate is what's in his plate, and he doesn't. But I have to admit something that was very like type C parenting of me.
Ooh.
And I think I'm a healthy blend of A and B.
Okay.
But this was very C, not like me, like really bad. So I'm just going to say that out the bat. I did not give him peanut butter for a while.
Can I tell you something
partially?
too? I still don't give her peanut butter. But I have an explanation for that. Go ahead.
So I've given him peanut butter before. It's not always the first thing he likes. I actually gave him a peanut butter and jelly today, and he had like a square, because I cut the sandwich into little squares. he ate a square of it and then he was like, no, like, but he loves nuts.
That's good.
Like a handful of nuts, he'll eat that. And I'm like,
Does he
okay.
discriminate? Does he like a pecan versus a walnut, or he just likes them all?
Nope. Nope.
Nice.
But I say that because I used to see moms that had kids around the same time that they were like, oh, we're giving our kid peanut butter in the parking lot of a hospital.
Yeah.
And I was like, oops. I didn't. Partially because I was nervous about it. Then a few times I forgot, like, I meant to give him peanut butter on the way to an appointment, and like I forgot to do it and whatever. So like, and then one day I was just like, have a little peanut butter.
Oh, let's see what happens.
God bless. He has been okay, but yeah. So what's your explanation?
So I introduced peanut butter to my daughter when she was about 10 months old, and she really liked it. And she was fine with it. I would give her 1 spoon every other day or so just to lick. She was good. And one day, she was 13 months old. She had another F-Pies episode with peanut butter. And this must have been like her 15th time having it. And all of a sudden, it was just like projectile vomiting immediately after eating it, just like all the other foods. And I was so taken aback because I thought we were in the clear with the peanut butter. So at this point, we go to an allergist now. The pediatrician.
Yeah,
we told the
she's
pediatrician.
a year old.
Right, so she's 13 months old. So now they're like, okay, now she's old enough to actually get allergy tested. Which, by the way, if you have to take your baby to get allergy tested, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, because it is the most awful experience. They have to basically prick or scratch their back, because it's the biggest surface on a baby, with allergens. And they leave like little tiny scratch marks on them, but they have to do it with a lot of pressure, and it's painful for the babies, and it is so traumatizing. So if you have to do it, my heart goes out to you. If you have any questions about it, let me know, because unfortunately my daughter had to do it twice. Yeah, it was the worst.
Have you ever had an allergy test?
I have, yes, I have, because when I was a child, was anaphylactic allergic to bee stings. So I had to get tested for a whole bunch of different insect bites and things like that to see if, there was anything else. Thankfully there was not, but yeah, I've had it, and it's, when it's on your arm and in a small area.
I was gonna say, can you describe it for us? Because I've also had an allergy test, but can you describe it for us to like have a reference
for my experience? Or okay, so when I received this test, I was probably maybe 8 or 9. It was definitely in grammar school, and I went into the office because I had been getting really awful reactions to mosquito bites. And I mean, like when I would get a mosquito bite, like I would, like the welt would be like it would welt, and it would be like that for several days and become very inflamed, and it was just a whole thing. So they're like, oh, okay, well, let's test you for other insect reactions. So they have a bunch of little vials set up with a little tiny bit of the allergen on the bottom, and these vials have a little scratcher on the very bottom of them. And what they do is they take however many tests they're giving you. So let's say, for example, there's 6 vials. They'll take all 6 vials at the same time and then press it into your arm.
Yep.
So that there's these tiny little dots with markers. They mark each one on your arm, like for my example, which insect was what. So bee versus mosquito versus wasp versus tick versus whatever. And then they would have a control, so something to compare it to that didn't have an allergen on it. And you have to wait about 30 minutes, I believe.
Yeah,
maybe
for
a little
like the full
less,
reactions of everything,
for
right?
the full reaction, right, to see. And then if you have an allergy, that little prick will welt up like crazy and be like, hey, I'm angry. Look at me, you know? But if you don't have an allergy, it kind of goes away.
It's just a mark.
It's just a little tiny little prick, and that's that. So I was very allergic to wasps, hornets, bees, honeybees, like all of that. Like my whole arm was basically like one huge welt. So I was given an EpiPen, and life was good. And I actually just got allergy tested recently. And when you're an adult, you can get a blood test instead.
Oh,
Which
I didn't know
that's
that.
cool. Me either. Until I actually got it done earlier this year just to see, because my EpiPen's prescription had run out. And I'm like, honestly, could you test me for this again? Because the last time I was tested, I was a kid, and you can grow out of allergies, and let me be the poster child to let you know you can grow out of allergies. So, yeah, that was a huge tangent. Sorry, but
No, not a huge tangent. This is relevant, I think, because like you mentioned, your daughter had to be tested.
Yeah.
You're not able to test before they're a year old, so certain things you find out the hard way, basically.
unfortunately, yeah. So the results of her test with nuts was quite interesting, because thankfully she was not reactive to the allergens, but the allergist still recommended that we do not give her any sort of exposure to peanut butter for another year. So we're coming up on that time. She turns 2 next month, and she has yet to have peanut butter since the last time that she had that F Pies episode with it. So send your good vibes to me, because we're going to try peanut butter again soon.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
see
I
how
will.
it goes.
I will definitely send the good vibes for that, because it's so scary. Like,
It's so scary.
you start, and we'll move towards that in this episode, but you go through so much planning now, because up until a certain point they're literally surviving on milk,
Exactly.
whether it's breast milk or formula. And now you're introducing food, and you have to make meal times. You have to think about snacks. You have to think about, and depending on what the schedule is for their sleep or their nap time, making sure they get in certain meals, and like,
Yeah. Have enough time to digest it before they go down. Like, it's a whole thing.
So I've learned that a lot of parents, they jump right in, like as soon as they start solids, they jump right into like the 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then like some snacks in there. My kid was a breakfast and dinner kid,
Same.
but for lunch he would have a plethora of snacks, and not like because we weren't offering a meal. It was just, he didn't want something big, he didn't want something heavy, he wanted just some fruit and crackers, he wanted some cheese and this, and we don't really do juice. He doesn't like juice, so that's great, I guess. But I did, even like, how you watch your baby's cues when they're
hungry,
breastfeeding.
tired.
Yeah. I do that with food. Like, some days he's hungrier than others. Some days he's like tonight we had dinner. He ate his dinner. I think we had rice, chicken, and something else. He ate all his dinner and then was like, Cheerios. I want Cheerios. And he had a handful of Cheerios before like going for bath time and to go to sleep. And some days he wakes up in the morning and he is ravenous. Like, he could eat through the fridge and still be hungry, So like, that's been very interesting, because I thought that because they're eating solids, they would be fuller longer.
No, well, their metabolisms are crazy fast.
Yeah. Well, I guess I just thought, like, I don't know, in my brain, rice and crackers is heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's like rice,
Like, what else you
chicken,
got?
strawberries, cottage cheese.
Oh, berries. Oh my gosh. Every toddler parent needs to own a berry farm.
I'm planting berries next year.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, just pick a little spot in your backyard and grow blueberries and strawberries. You'll thank us later, because Lord, a carton a day sometimes. I'm not trying to
And then
exaggerate.
some days some days he doesn't want to be bothered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some days he's like, ill. Blueberries?
How
No.
dare you offer that to me, Mom?
The
What the
audacity
heck?
of you. No, I
Ew.
want nothing. And then it sits in the fridge. I'm like, okay, well, someone has to eat it because we can't let this
Exactly.
go bad because it's like $85 per container.
Can I share a little hack that I've done with that? So if I notice that she's not into the berry of the week that I have provided, and I'm like, all right, well, these got to go. I'm not going to eat them all. I will blend them up and put some, like, blend it with some milk and spinach and some veggie, and I make an ice pop out of it for her to eat later. And she
That's a good hack.
loves the ice pops I make her. I also will do it with pouches, like those fruit pouches. I'll make little I also have some extra breast milk that's frozen, so I'll put some breast milk and I'll squeeze some of the pouch into the mold, put a little stick. Girl loves that stuff, especially in the summertime.
All right. Sold me. I'm going to go get a popsicle thing made. 'Cause
Do it.
that's the other thing. He's not wild about like quote unquote ices. But if he sees us eating something out of a bowl or eating like an Italian ice, he's like, what you
mine?
got there? Right. Yeah. So that's the luxury slash inconvenience, I guess you could say, about your kid eats what you eat, because every time we're eating, he literally walks up to us and goes, ah.
Oh,
Like-
that's so sweet though.
It is very cute.
Today,
So-
I was eating a sandwich today, and my daughter comes up to me. She goes, "Sandwich," or she does "swanwich," like she does the
Oh my
N,
gosh, that's so cute.
or she does the W after the S. So swamwich.
That's adorable.
Oh my god, I love it.
So here's I've seen a lot of recommendations of like creating a positive environment around food. So now we're going to kind of move in that direction. So do you guys, what does that look like for you guys? Do you guys do like, you set up a little table in the living room? Do you sit at your dining room table all the time? Like, how does that work for you?
For our family, food is eaten at the table, and specifically for her, eaten in the high chair. Now, there are some exceptions to that. Like if she's going to have some puffs, those little like, what
Yeah,
do they
that's
call, like
different.
whatever. Like if she's having a little bit of, okay, like you can walk around with your little like snack box
Containers.
thing and eat your puffs or your crackers or whatever. But if you're eating something that requires a bib, you are sitting in the high chair. For a couple of reasons. Number one, if it requires a bib, then it's obviously a more in-depth meal or an in-depth, eating opportunity. This includes berries, because berries are a mess. They're
Yep.
a mess. And I'm not letting her walk around my house and get her berry hands
berries.
everywhere.
Nope.
So for the most part, she will sit in her high chair if she wants to eat. And we do try to eat as a family as much as possible at the dining room table with her next to us in her high chair. So it's very routined in that way. And she actually,
Yep.
whenever we are presenting food to her, she just runs to her high chair now. It's a routine.
Yep.
So she knows.
She knows what's up.
Okay, I sit in the high chair. What about you?
Good. Very similar to yours. We haven't been in a high chair since February-ish,
Oh, fancy.
but that's because when we went to Dominican Republic in February, I had bought like a travel, like a chair that you can attach
Yeah.
to, like a booster chair to
Right.
the chair, and he really liked it. I feel like he felt like he was part of the table.
Oh, that's sweet.
So we have a booster seat for him at the table, and he knows the same thing. He knows if we're gonna eat, if I put a plate down on the table, he sits in his chair and he's like, yep, let's do it. He enjoys it, I think, because he resonates like, okay, I'm sitting with mom, or when my husband's home, I'm sitting with mom and dad at the table, and like we have a no phone policy at the table.
So do
So
we.
so like we
Undivided
talk.
time. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I forgot what the statistic is, but I think it's like, I don't know, one in a very small amount of people, of families, like they don't have dinner at the table.
Yeah.
Whether it's because they can't or etc. Like they don't have a lot of time at the table, and it's supposed to be really good for their development, which I learned
Yeah.
through going through the process of like introducing solids and stuff, that it's really good for them. So same as yours in that way, like snacks, dry snacks specifically, like crackers, puffs, Cheerios. He almost always has something with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Berries,
She's a big snacker.
yeah. Berries, no. Berries stay at the table. Yogurts stay at the table. That's
She has
hard
just been allowed to have a pouch outside of her high chair. Only recently has she been allowed to carry a pouch around, because how many toddler parents are there listening to this right now that have pouch stains on your couch? Me.
yeah. I was like, me.
Oh my gosh, those
Or
pouches.
clothing that's been stained because
Clothing, forget it.
I mean, yeah, that's a whole different thing. But yes. Yeah.
My husband had to change his whole work outfit before he left this morning. Twice.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Okay, so here's a little, this actually, we kind of talked about this, like, I guess kind of like a little suggestion, or if this is the season that you're in where you're introducing solids, or you just want your kids more present at the table, your toddler especially. We just talked about screens. We have an episode about screen time, but very specifically like at the table, try to make it that
Conversational, like
it's conversational. Yeah.
very focused attention.
Do you allow toys during food time?
I will allow toys when she is finished eating, but we are not.
Okay. That's
depends.
our thing, our method too.
Yeah, and the reason being is because a lot of the time she's ready to eat and will actually put herself in the high chair and is like, yo,
Yeah.
hello.
Exactly that. Yep.
So sometimes we will let her start eating before us.
Yeah.
Which means she inevitably finishes before us. And she does get antsy at the table, but I do allow toys at the table because I think about a scenario about, what if we're in a restaurant and she's waiting for food? I want her to be able to entertain herself while other people are speaking, conversing, whatever, while we're waiting for food or while she's waiting for others to be done. So I really try to have her sit in that high chair for as long as possible. And I think
The
toys
attention
are,
span.
yeah, I think toys are a really good tool to allow that to happen, especially since there's no screens in our household while we're eating or in an eating setting. So I just think the more and more I challenge her patience at home, and the more a more opportunity to work her imagination is good in my eyes. So that's what we do.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same for us. I have the same scenario happen a lot where he's like he'll go sit and he'll be like,
Hello.
eat. His new thing is spoon, and that's his way of being like, you got my plate, I need my spoon. Where's the food at? Right. So same scenario though. If you're listening to this and you're entering this different type of phase, I think allowing toys at the table after dinner or after the meal is finished, because usually they eat first, they finish first. I feel that teaches them patience to realize like, okay, I'm sitting at the table when everyone is done is when I can kind of get up and be done with food. So
I also use a lot of this then statements. So I'll say, eat egg, then Play-Doh. Keep it real simple, like as few words as possible. And she's been really receptive to that idea. So she'll hear eat egg, then Play-Doh, and she'll start
Eating her. I was like, all right, I'm ready.
Like, okay, no problem.
For sure. Now I want to talk a little bit. I want to pick your brain because I happen
Okay.
to think you're a patient person. Um, what are we doing with food throwing?
Girl.
And because, like, if you're listening to this and you haven't experienced yet a toddler, this was kind of new to me when with my own kid. They throw food on the floor. It doesn't
Oh my
happen all the
God.
time. It's not because they don't like it. I thought it was because they don't like it, but no, it's not because of that. But they do throw food on the floor, and they,
Constantly.
yeah. So what are we doing with that?
We are first taking a deep breath, especially if you have just cooked whatever they threw on the floor.
Or just clean the floor.
I don't care about cleaning the floor. I'm going to have to clean up the post-food mess anyway.
That's true.
But if my ass just cooked you a meal and you threw the whole thing on the floor,
Yeah.
mama needs to take a step back and take a deep breath and say to herself, I love my child. Because I do. I love my child, and this is developmentally normal. I have to remind myself of that.
Yeah.
Throwing is one of those things that is so frustrating, but is just so common. And I think a lot of it has to do with cause and effect. They really are seeking your reaction. So the best thing that I do that I found to be very helpful is not react at all. Just pretend it didn't happen. And then if I say afterwards, I say, food is for eating. And she deliberately does it again because that's the age that I'm at right now.
They're testing.
Then I make her clean it up. I take her out of the high chair. I bring whatever plate she threw, and I model it first, and I say, food is for eating. Now we clean up. And then I model it with her. Then I hand her a piece and make her do it. Yeah, and that's been really helpful. She's also really afraid of our our little Roomba vacuum. So
Oh my gosh. What is that? He suddenly No. For me, this is what it is for me. So we'll be in the living room, and my dining room is where we have a shark, but it's the same thing as a Roomba.
Yeah.
He hears it. It goes do 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 when it starts, and he immediately like just starts screaming, and he's like, I'm like, baby, where did this come from? He's not afraid of the vacuum. He loves to vacuum.
Weird.
So I'm like, where did this come from?
Maybe it's a lack of control thing because it's kind of doing it on its own and we aren't participating in its actions. I don't know.
And then-
Ramona is like, I'm scared. And like gives me
Yeah.
like the half crying, but I'm scared. And I'm like, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. But
I'm like,
I use that Roomba and I'm like, food is for eating. Do you want vacuum to come out? No, I'm scared.
no,
Oh, okay. Food is for eating.
I could dig it. So we are very similar, which doesn't surprise me at all with your explanation. For us, when he started, and he was younger, when he would throw food on the floor, I would take the plate and I would say, "Are you all done?" That's what I would say, and
And sign it. All done.
and still, this is like a repetition is what makes it stick. But I would say to him a lot. I would say, when you throw your food, it lets me know that you're done. So are you done? And he'd be like, no. I'd be like, okay, well, when you throw your food, and you have to communicate. And this has actually been very interesting to me because I've always talked to the baby. I mean, I used to get up 4 a.m, changing diapers, half asleep, deprived, and whatever. And I'd be like, okay, we're going to have our milk now, and we're going to go back to sleep, and like having all this conversation. And now he's in toddlerhood, and like he actually understands me. He doesn't
Absolutely.
he doesn't always communicate full on, because he's still learning to communicate, but
They know more than they can
they
verbalize.
know so much. So if
Yeah.
you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know what to do with my kid with food aversions, or which we'll talk, I think, a little bit more about food aversions, but you're like, I don't know what to do with food throwing or whatever, just take a deep breath, take a step away, hold those boundaries strong, because ultimately you're raising humans into the world, and like some days that is very hard, and other days it's like, hell yeah, you're listening. So
Yeah, like one day it just clicks sometimes. Something one of my other friends does is she introduced something called an all done plate. So she gives him 2 plates, one with his food and one that's empty. And when he's all done, instead of throwing it, he puts it into the all done plate, which lets her know that, oh, he's all done
that's
with this.
actually
So
really creative.
I'm going to take it away. Yeah, and it works. I've seen it in action with him, and he never throws food ever.
Wow.
And when and
Okay.
even if there's no all done plate, what he'll do is he'll put it like to the edge of the, I don't know, the tray he's on, or put it on the table if he's in a booster seat, and just, he places it. It's really interesting.
That is very interesting. Yeah, you see, this is why community is important, because those are just little things that probably really save. So what do you do when your child is like, nope, I don't want this?
It depends what it is. And this is tough because in my household growing up, it was very much like, well,
You
you
eat
better
what you get.
You eat or you starve. Or it was, you better eat all that and think about all the starving children in the world who aren't as lucky as you. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
Like, that
yeah.
was how it was when I grew up. So you would not leave the table if your plate wasn't clean, pretty much. Or if you really protested, then you went to bed immediately after dinner. And that was that. Like food and like, what I did not grow up I grew up with parents who struggled financially, and so that was important.
It was important for you to eat what they had.
Exactly. And from what I've read, I can see how food anxiety develops as a result of that. So while it is very frustrating, I do respect the boundary that my daughter sets when she says she's all done. I do not force her to eat anything. However, I will save it, depending on what it is, if it's salvageable. I will save it for the next time she tells me she's hungry, and we'll try it again. It doesn't always work, but I still respect her boundary that she sets if she doesn't want it. And that's frustrating. It is really frustrating because you want them to eat the good things. Like, I cannot get this girl to eat broccoli. Cannot. I've introduced it about 45 different times, different ways, different methods, whatever. She will not eat it. But I still keep offering it. Ultimately,
Yeah.
I'm the one who eats it.
Good for you.
Yeah, exactly. She knows what it is. She pretends to eat it, but she will not eat it. And it is frustrating. It really is. But I think it is important to respect their boundaries and not force them to eat if they're not hungry or if they are apprehensive to whatever they're trying. But I just think offering it over and over and over again is the better response.
Is the way.
To that, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have a friend who, with her own, she has 2 kids now. She told me, I don't know, like maybe when she was introducing solids to her second, or he was a little bit older, whatever. But I remember her making a comment of like, I don't want to create negative around food. I don't want my kids, like any parent, they're like, I don't want my kid to be dependent on like candy and just sugar or just snacks. But I also want them to know to eat good things. So I do offer vegetables a lot. I do this, XYZ. And obviously, if you have a toddler, you know that they run on carbs and vibes. That is, yes, they'll eat berries. Yes, they'll eat, like different things. But on a general place, it's carbs and vibes. So this is not meant to like be a, like, oh, my kid isn't eating this or whatever. This is more meant to like the big thing you said, and I agree with. And I've seen a lot of food people online that are like food,
Like
not food
nutritionists.
pediatricians, but yes, nutritionists, like child nutritionists, things like that. That's what they say. They say just keep offering it. Offer them, maybe even offer it in different ways, but just keep offering it. Because same, broccoli is not a thing in this house right now for my kid. He's like, no. But it's interesting because if it's dressed in a different way, he
Or if
may
it's
be
mixed
inclined to
in.
eat it. If it's mixed in something, he doesn't bat an eye. And sometimes I'll be honest and say that like I'll cut it up and I'll mix it in rice
Yep.
and he'll
He
eat it
does
that way.
notice. Yep.
And then other times he'll notice it and he takes a piece out and he's like, no. And when he does that, I respect the boundary. I'm like, you know what? I did mix it. I did, we tried this different ways. I keep offering it. I always try to put I read this very early on. I always try to put a safe food on the plate,
Yeah.
which is a food that I know they're going to eat, that he's going to eat regardless. And then I just keep offering it. For a
Something
while,
with- Go ahead. No.
For a while, he did not care for blueberries. He was just like, no. I
That
think it was because they were
happens.
too tardy. They were too tardy, and he was just like, no. Like, no thanks.
Not these, Mom. Try again later.
Right. But then it's same thing with strawberries. And then one day I had a friend here and her kids were eating the strawberries, and guess who ate 3 bowls of strawberries that night? Because he was just like, oh snap, these taste good. So, just keep offering is like the biggest lesson there.
Absolutely. And I also use this then statements when she's eating too, because I will also have a safe food available. So for example, she loves clementines, loves them. But I really want her to eat her eggs first. So I'll say, okay. She'll say, orange. And I'll say, okay, yeah, egg, then orange. Same thing. Egg, then orange. Same thing with the Play-Doh. Egg, then Play-Doh. And I'm telling you, she is so receptive to that. So receptive to that. I love it.
I love that. Kind of tidbit of a suggestion. All right. So winding down a little bit, what's a hack for you? Like, let's take a second and think about like a hack for you when it came to like starting solids, or I would say even now for toddler meals. Like what is like a game changer for you where you're like, almost every time I know she's going to be enthusiastic to sit at the table, eat this, and like have a very good day?
I am going to start first with what was a hack when I first started solids with her. And it's along the same lines as the baby-led weaning stuff, which that overwhelmed me a lot. And I really didn't get into it until much later.
Yeah.
But a common practice with baby-led weaning is to not puree things and to give them like large chunks of food so they can grasp it and explore it in their mouth themselves, kind of like a teeter, if you will. So one hack for me was I would make a steak, well done, of course, or chicken, or some sort of protein in that way. I would cut it into like a fat strip. And she would just suck on the piece of meat for like 30 minutes.
Getting the flavor.
Exactly. Yeah. She's getting all the flavor and the juices and exploring the texture. And then after about like 10 minutes, I would flip it so that she was holding the chewed side so she have it fresh, She's like, and then like once I would do that, she'd be like, oh, wow. Just, you could see it in the face when they love it. She's like, oh, this is the stuff. So that was a really, really great hack that I learned somewhere on the internet about baby-led weaning and giving them really big chunks of stuff to just feel out, literally feel it out. But now Is your question asking me like what is my go-to meal for her, or
Um, yeah. Yeah,
okay.
let's go with that.
Well, lately, for a while, pasta, tried and true. Girlfriend loved pasta with red sauce.
Can't say I blame her.
Delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Girlfriend loves a good pasta. But now, man, if I put a mango in front of this girl, done.
Love mango.
She'll eat the whole thing. She'll eat the whole entire thing and a watermelon. She'll eat a quarter of a watermelon in one sitting.
I love that.
Now, it's not really a meal. They're more like snacks, but girlfriend is not eating meals right now.
You know what? Some days
She's just not into it right now.
breakfast. Some days it's breakfast and then dinner. And then whatever that in between is.
Some days it's just snacks and air. I'm like, how are you surviving? I don't know.
Yeah. So my hack is similar to yours. My brother actually said this to me, my oldest brother. And he was like, you should give him a chicken bone.
Oh.
And I was like, what? He's like, yep. He's like, peel all the chicken off the chicken bone. He's like, make sure the cartilage and all that stuff is off. He's like, and give him the chicken bone.
Oh my God.
And I was like, why? He's like, he's going to put it in his mouth and it's going to be on his gums and he's going to want to chew it and he's going to do that. He's like, and also he's going to taste the flavor. And he's going to associate food with this burst of flavor. And yep, it is one of my favorite memories of us starting salads. It was that bone. He had his fist in his mouth with the bone because he was so in it.
That's so cute.
So he loved that. I would say that's recommended. And I would say our go-to meal right now is rice and chicken hidden in the meal. Hidden chicken. Because he won't. So we use these little plates. They're like metal plates. And they have, they have the big portion and then the two little portions. If I separate the chicken on there, he's like, no. He'll look at it and he'll be like, But if it has, like if it's mixed in the rice or there's a little bit of like a sauce, like whether it's like gravy from the chicken or beans, he takes the chicken, he dips it, licks it, dips again, and eats it. Like that is like the go-to, like rice, chicken with some kind of sauce. He's eating it every time.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a good balanced meal too. One other thing that my pediatrician actually recommended when we were starting solids, and I wish I kind of stuck to my guns with it, introduce veggies first.
Yeah.
So they don't know what sweet is other than the kind of sweetness of milk. Veggies first. So, and for as long as possible, like delay fruits as long as possible. Introduce all the broccolis, the green beans, the peas, like avocado, all of that fun green stuff. Carrots are kind of sweet, so that might be, a nice in between.
Just carrots.
Yeah, but veggies first.
What? So I did do that. And then I was like, all right, well, here's some fruit. He's going to love fruit. And like I said, for a while, he was just like, ew, I want nothing to do with this. I was like, okay, well, avocado and carrots it is. So I think, yes, listen to your pediatrician. Go with what you feel comfortable with. And in the same way that you're letting your baby lead you with their sleep cues and their hunger cues when they're on formula or breast milk, listen to your baby's food cues. Like, they don't know what they don't know, but on the same window, like, they don't know what they don't know. So just give them a chance.
Yep, give them a chance, respect their boundaries, and keep trying. Just keep trying. And also, when they throw the food, deep
Take a deep breath. Yeah. Yeah. Take a second, because
Walk away.
it's frustrating, but they don't know.
I know. Don't let
They've
them know it's
grown
frustrating.
Don't let them know it's for. Just say, okay, mommy's gonna go to the bathroom, and just like whatever that takes. All right. Well, that wraps up this episode, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.